Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following our ongoing coverage on the mysterious and heartbreaking story of Menglong, you won't want to miss this. Today's revelation will leave you speechless. Before we dive deep into the exclusive details, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and stay tuned for more gripping stories like this one. For weeks, silence surrounded Menglong's fiancée, the woman whose name had been deliberately withheld from the media to protect her privacy. But after a long and painful period of hiding, she finally broke her silence, and what she revealed has shaken the entertainment world to its core. Her name is Lin Xiao, a quiet, graceful woman who had been by Menglong's side for nearly 4 years. They met during the filming of one of his dramas, when she was working behind the scenes as a set photographer. Their love story, though hidden from the public eye, had been one of calm devotion. At least, that's what everyone thought, until the night of his death. The call that changed everything. In her trembling voice, Lin revealed that you called her just 20 minutes before the tragedy. "He sounded different," she whispered, eyes glistening as she spoke during the interview. There was a kind of heaviness in his tone, like he was struggling to breathe. "I remember asking him if he was okay, and he just said, 'Don't worry about me tonight. Just remember I love you.'" She paused, her hands tightening on the edge of the chair. "I tried to call him back right after, but his phone was already off. It was like he disappeared into the night." According to her, that was the last call Menglong ever made. Records from the telecom company reportedly confirm her claim. The timestamp matches exactly 12:47 a.m. The same window security cameras captured you returning to his apartment alone. Hidden signs before the fall. Lin confessed that you had been distant in the days leading up to his death. He wasn't sleeping much. He kept saying someone was following him, that something wasn't right with his phone, his car, even his messages. "At first, I thought he was just stressed from filming, but he wasn't himself anymore." In the following days, you reportedly began deleting old chats, clearing out folders from his laptop, and changing passwords to his personal accounts. He told Lin that he was protecting her. From what? She never understood. But what Lin remembers most vividly was his final visit 2 nights before the incident. He showed up unannounced, with tired eyes and shaky hands. "He hugged me for a long time," she said softly. He didn't say much, but when he finally spoke, he said, "If anything happens, don't believe everything they tell you." Her voice broke. "I didn't realize he was saying goodbye." The engagement that never was. What many fans didn't know was that you had actually planned to announce his engagement to Lin just weeks later. Hidden inside his apartment was a small velvet box, a custom-made diamond ring engraved with the initials YNL. Lin confirmed that she helped design the ring herself. "He told me he wanted something timeless, something that meant forever." But forever came too soon. His close friend and assistant later revealed that you had even booked a private resort for the proposal, a quiet beach in Sonya, one of his favorite places. But none of that would ever happen. Instead, that ring became evidence in an investigation that raised more questions than answers. The call logs and the missing minute. Investigators reportedly found a 1-minute gap in the call log between Yu's last outgoing call and the time his phone was turned off. Forensics experts suggest the phone might have been manually shut down or damaged suddenly. Lin's revelation about their last call now adds a chilling layer. "It's like he knew something was about to happen," she said. "He sounded resigned, but calm. I kept asking if he was safe. He said yes, but it didn't sound like the truth." Her statement has prompted renewed speculation about what really happened in those final minutes. The public reaction. After her interview aired, fans flooded social media with emotional posts under the hashtag #UmenglongLastCall. Comments ranged from heartbreak to suspicion. "He tried to warn her. That's what it sounds like. This isn't just an accident anymore. Someone knows something. Why didn't they release this call record earlier?" The interview reignited the investigation online, with thousands dissecting every second of her story. Some questioned her motives, while others defended her as the only person you truly trusted. But one thing was clear: Lin's testimony reopened wounds that never healed. Unseen details from the night. Sources close to the investigation claim that Yu's phone was later found with its SIM card removed and the call history wiped clean except for one unsent message draft that simply read, "Don't let them." No one knows who them referred to, and no one has been able to recover the rest of the message. Lynn believes he was trying to send it to her. "He was always protective," she said. "Even when he was scared, he wanted to keep me safe. But I think he knew something was coming. Maybe that's why he called me. To hear my voice one last time." Love, silence, and unanswered questions. The interview ended with Lynn holding back tears, clutching a small photo of Yu from their first trip together. "He promised he'd never leave without saying goodbye," she said quietly. "That night, he kept his promise in his own way. But I'll never stop wondering what he was trying to tell me." Her words have added a haunting new layer to an already twisted mystery, one that refuses to fade from public memory. As the world continues to search for the truth, Lynn's voice stands as both a love letter and a warning that behind every headline is a story far deeper than fame and far more human than any of us imagined. And perhaps in those last few words, "Just remember I love you," Menglong was already saying what the world would only come to understand after he was gone. The rain in Beijing that night was relentless. It came down in long, cold streaks, washing the city in silence, a silence that would later become the backdrop of Menglong's final moments. For Lin Xiao, the sound of rain has never been the same since. It was 12:47 a.m., September 11th, when her phone lit up. On the screen was a name she'd memorized: Menglong. He rarely called that late. She hesitated for a heartbeat before answering, unaware that those few seconds would become the most painful hesitation of her life. "Long," she said softly. "Shower." His voice was faint, shaky. "Are you awake?" There was a strange echo behind his words, like the sound of wind or perhaps a half-open window. It wasn't his usual confident tone. It was almost fragile. "You sound tired. Where are you?" A pause. A breath. Then, "Home, but it doesn't feel like home tonight." Something inside her stirred fear. "What do you mean?" she whispered. But he didn't answer that question. Instead, he asked something completely out of place. "If I could disappear right now, would you still look for me?" The question made her heart stop. She laughed nervously, thinking he was joking. But he didn't laugh back. The moment the line went silent, Lynn's eyes filled with tears as she recounted that call during her exclusive interview. "I told him to stop saying weird things. I said, 'Don't scare me, Long.'" He sighed. It wasn't a sigh of sadness, more like surrender. Then he said something I'll never forget. "Don't cry for me if they say I fell." At first, she thought she misheard him. But then came the sound, a metallic thud, maybe something dropping on the floor, followed by muffled voices in the background. She heard him say one last thing before the line went dead. "They're here." Then silence. No static. No disconnection tone. Just silence. She called back over and over again, but the line was unreachable. Within minutes, his phone was switched off. The apartment that told its own story. Hours later, before the news even broke, Lynn was already on her way to Yu's apartment. She banged on the door until the neighbors emerged, startled by her cries. The police hadn't yet arrived. She was one of the first to see the empty balcony, the one that looked down onto the courtyard where officers would later find Yu's body. The apartment, she said, didn't look like his anymore. Clothes were scattered, drawers half open, his laptop still on, showing a black screen that flickered faintly with light. But what she noticed most was a smell, faint but strange, something metallic, mixed with alcohol. On the table was a glass half filled with whiskey, next to an opened folder of old scripts and a ring box. The same ring box meant for her. Inside the box was no ring, only a small folded note that read, "If I don't come back, remember, truth is louder than silence." The security footage that changed everything. Official reports claimed Yu had fallen after drinking. But according to security footage later leaked online, there were unidentified shadows captured outside his apartment hallway shortly before 1 a.m. Two figures in dark clothing lingered near his door. Neither of them entered, but both disappeared seconds before the time of his fall. Police dismissed the footage as irrelevant, calling it distorted motion due to camera interference. But fans weren't convinced, especially after Lin mentioned hearing voices before the line went silent. One chilling moment from the leaked clip showed you stepping out onto the balcony, phone in hand, looking down, not drunk, but purposeful, as if talking to someone below. Seconds later, he was gone. The whispered words of the fiancé. Lin told interviewers she can't get his voice out of her head. That last sentence, "They're here," keeps echoing, she said. Who were they? Friends? Strangers? Or someone he trusted? Since his death, Lin has been harassed online, accused of fabricating details for sympathy. But even amid the hate, she continues to speak. "I don't care what they call me. I was the last person he talked to. I know what I heard." She keeps his phone case, cracked, stained faintly with dust from that night. Inside it, she found a small piece of paper tucked behind the cover. Written in Yu's handwriting were just 4 words. "Don't let it fade." The unreleased voice memo. In a recent revelation, one of Yu's close friends, an editor who worked with him on his final project, claimed Yu had recorded a voice memo on his phone hours before he died. The file, titled for Lin, was never sent. Authorities confiscated the phone, but insiders allege they heard fragments of it before it disappeared from the records. In it, Yu's voice sounds calm, almost detached, saying, "If you ever hear this, it means I didn't make it through tonight. Don't believe the first story they tell you. Promise me you'll stay away from." Then static. The rest is lost. That unfinished sentence has since become one of the most haunting mysteries surrounding his death. The fiancé's private grief. After the interview, Lin returned to the small lakeside house they once dreamed of moving into after marriage. Neighbors described seeing her standing by the water every evening, holding her phone as if waiting for a call that would never come. On her social media, she posted just one message. "He promised to call me again. I'm still waiting." The post went viral overnight, amassing millions of comments. Fans flooded it with heartbreak, poems, and theories, some insisting Yu had left clues in his dramas, others claiming the rain that night symbolized his goodbye. But amid all the noise, one truth remains. Lin's pain isn't fiction. It's the echo of love that never got closure. The world's still waiting for answers. Every few weeks, new details emerge. A blurred photo, a supposed witness, a deleted post. Yet, the official story remains unchanged. Accidental fall, no foul play. But those who followed the case closely believe Lin's version holds pieces that authorities ignored. Why was the call log wiped clean? Why were there unidentified figures in the footage? And why did you speak as though he knew something was about to happen? As Lin's voice trembles through interviews, you can hear both love and defiance. "He wasn't drunk," she insists. "He was scared. And he called me because he wanted someone to hear it, someone to remember." And she has. Every word, every breath, every second before that line went silent. The world may have ruled his death an accident, but for Lin Xiao, it was a warning, a message hidden in whispers, lost in rain, and buried under silence. "If I could disappear right now," he had asked her that night, "would you still look for me?" The answer, of course, was yes. And she still is. YouTube outro. If you believe there's more to Yu Menglong's story than what's been told, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Because every truth begins with one person who refuses to stop asking questions. Stay tuned. The next revelation may change everything you thought you knew about his final night.